Hey, it's Stacy from the From Scratch Farmhouse, and I have a bit of a unique video for you today. So I know that many of you who follow me here are in the earlier stages of parenting and also the earlier stages of your homesteading journey. So I want to share with you today something that has saved us so much money over the years, and also something that has allowed us to raise 7 kiddos in a tiny trailer for 3.5 years without issue, and that is our clothing rotation system. Right when I had my first child, I knew that we would probably go on to have a few more at least, and so I started saving all of their clothes. And I got a lot of people telling me that this was a terrible idea, that I was going to use up way too much storage room. We lived in a tiny house at the time, and I do not regret it at all. In fact, I have created an entire system around saving and rotating clothes that has saved us so much money and also a lot of convenience, because I am not shopping for clothes. In fact, our family of 10 spends $1,000 or less per year on clothes, winter items, all of that, which I know sounds very crazy to some of you. I have friends that spend that just for one child in a few months' time. So I want to share that system with you, and I'm also going to start by sharing a little bit about how we fit our large family into a tiny trailer for the 3.5 years that it took us to save and build our home. One other little tip: when I do buy clothes, actually, this is something I have done since my first was a baby, but when I do buy clothes, I buy them generally secondhand from a place called Once Upon a Child. And thankfully, there is a Once Upon a Child near us here in Wisconsin, just like there was in Washington. Well, here it's an hour and a half away, but we go twice a year. So we go in the spring and get all of our spring and summer stuff that we need. And then in the fall, we go get anything that we need for the fall and winter. So that has worked for us really well here. When I lived in Washington, I went a little bit more frequently, but then I still didn't have to be buying nearly as much stuff as most people did with a lot of children, because I was saving everything and handing it down to the next child. There's one other thing I want to point out, because I know I'll get this question. I know that boys can be rough on their clothes, especially when you live in the country like us. And so yes, since we've moved to Wisconsin and live a bit more rural lifestyle, there has been less things like jeans that gets passed down, because things obviously do get ruined. But I still am very intentional about keeping things like snow coats and church shirts and the things that actually add up. And then we do have to buy things like jeans here and there. First, I'm going to share with you a peek into how we fit our 7 kids into our small trailer. We lived in it on our land for 3.5 years while we saved and built the home that we live in now. It had 3 tiny bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, which was just perfect. 3 of our girls shared one room, and their clothes went just on an open hanging rack and a dresser in that room. Our 4th girl was a baby at that time, so she just slept and had her stuff in the master bedroom with us. The room for the 3 boys had a tiny closet where each child had a bin for things like socks and undies and a bin for pants. And then the rest was hung up. All of the toys that we had were in one of 3 places: under the beds and bins, in one small hall closet that we had, or stored away in bins in our storage shed, and those bins just got brought in on occasion as something special to do and then put back out. That storage shed was also where we kept all of our clothing bins that were labeled by gender and age. Now, the rest of this video was something I filmed several years ago. It was actually the very first video that I ever made, so it's not great. But I think the information on how we rotate our clothes and our bin system, and also just how we fit all of our children into a small area and lived very comfortably, is something that might be useful to you if you're trying to be frugal or live in a smaller spot maybe while you build like we did. So I want to share that information, and hopefully the bad videography isn't too distracting. Okay, I've been getting asked a ton of questions about how our large family handles kids' clothes, how we store kids' clothes, how I manage going through all of these clothes and figuring out what we need and what to keep for the future. So I'm going to answer as many of your questions as I can in this video, and hopefully this will be a help. Sorry about the lighting. We are in the boys' bedroom, and we're going to work with what we have here. Okay, so first of all, I have a list here of what I want for each child to have for the upcoming season. So this makes a huge difference when I'm going through all of these piles of clothes.
so that I'm not going one by one through things thinking, should I keep this or should I not? It takes a lot of the stress out to just have a list ready to go of what you think each child will need. And then that way I'm picking out, if it says 3 church shirts, I'm picking out my best 3 church shirt for that child. And then anything else that is still a good quality church shirt for that child, I'll stick in their too big bin, is what we call them. And that way I can always go back if I decide, oh, actually they need 4 church shirts. Then I'll just go back to their bin and grab it out. This takes a lot of the stress of going through the kids' clothes out of the whole situation. So what I have here is I've taken all of the boys' clothes out of their closet, out of their drawers. I have my 3 piles for my 3 boys. And then I have 3 bins over here. And these are what we call too big bins. These bins are where I store all of their stuff that they're going to grow into. So as one child outgrows stuff, I put it into the next child's too big bin. And I keep these out in a storage unit. They're not in our home at this point. We live in a tiny trailer. So we just pull them out usually seasonally and go through and figure out what they can wear for the next season. I also have 3 bins here, and these are the bins that I keep in the boys' closet. And so as I'm going through the clothes, I'm sorting into the 3 bins that will go in their closet. I will have a pile on top of each bin that will be hanging stuff that gets hung in their closet. And then I have their 3 too big bins. My next step is I'm going to go through their too big bins, and I'm going to pull out anything that they might need for this season. I'm going to follow my list, and as I find something, let's say I find a swimsuit for this child, so I am going to make sure that this is going to fit him. By the way, I do go back after I've pulled out what I think will work and have put it in all of their drawers. I'll go through with the kids and make sure, like, I might have him try these on and make sure they're actually going to work before I bother to put everything away. So, but for now, it's way easier without the kids in here digging through stuff. So I'm going to go through the stuff, and I'm going to start by taking the stuff out of the too big bins, putting it in their bins for their closets. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I have gone through all their too big bins. I've taken anything out that's I either want them to try on to see if they'll work for this season, or stuff that I know will work, then I just kind of shoved it in their bin. Now I'm going to go switch over to these piles, the stuff that was already in their closet. I'm going to pack up anything that is not seasonally appropriate or that I want to pack up for the next job. So let's get to it. Oh yeah, I did forget to mention, I am going to keep a pile of stuff that is to get rid of, to donate, or to sell. So that's just going to be a pile on the floor for right now. So I'm going to start keeping 3 black pairs of socks in each of my boys' bins in their rooms. And this will be just for church, so they're not wearing white socks with their white or with their black pants. But all my other kids' socks I am going to put in a bin in the mudroom, or for now we don't really have a mudroom, so we have a hallway by our shoes. So that's where socks are going to live. No more sock matching, because I'm going to get everybody the same white socks. It's going to be lovely. I'm so excited. Okay, now I have gone through all the piles. Oh, almost. Okay, now I've gone through all the piles and I have my pile to get rid of or donate or sell. I've got my piles, my 2 big bins filled up. I need to kind of go through one of these. It's got way too much stuff in it, so I'm gonna pare it down till at least the lid fits. And then I'll put these back out in storage till the next season, and we'll do it all again.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, bad videography and all. And please join me next Tuesday for my Ditch the Grocery Store video. It will come out on Tuesday at 2 p.m. So then I will also put out my regular content, hopefully on Friday. Thank you and have a wonderful week.